everyone, we are here at the launch of MITS Elevated 100X program. MITS Elevated 100X is conceived as future-ready and industry-aligned program, and it aims to offer enhanced CSE competence and high employability conversions. So what would be the niche skills that our students would be getting, and how are they going to benefit from that?
Yeah, I think this changes very quickly. Like in the last 2 years, AI became like a very important niche. So you don't know what new skill comes up tomorrow that's important. So to sum it up, web development, mobile app development, backend, frontend, machine learning, AI, Web3, blockchains, cybersecurity.
MITS Elevate program is something which definitely we feel is a good one. The students, I understand, have been placed better, and I'm sure when we go for a little more comprehensive MITS Elevate program, I'm sure the students will do better and their employability will certainly be better.
So Elevate, as the name suggests, is thinking beyond the ordinary. So we need to have a set of students who are capable of thinking beyond the ordinary, who are willing to do it, and if we give them the support, can we really elevate them?
We are here at the launch of MITS Elevated 100X program, which is an ambitious initiative between Muthoot Institute of Technology and Science and 100X School, Noida. I'm Mansa Radhakrishnan, a proud alumnus of MITS Kochi, and I'm super excited to host this show. MITS Elevated 100X is conceived as future-ready and industry-aligned program, and it aims to offer enhanced CSE competence and high employability conversions. So moving on to the discussion. So joining us on the podcast today, we have Sri George Alexander Muthoot, who is the Managing Director of Muthoot Finance Limited. And under his leadership, the company has become the largest NBFC in gold loan sector with over 7,500 branches across India. So being a chartered accountant by profession, Muthoot Institute of Technology and Science has been his dream project. We're so happy to have you, sir. Welcome.
Thank you.
Next on the panel, we have Dr. Neelakantan PC, who is the principal of MITS, and sir is also an alumni of NIT Calicut. Sir has a long-standing experience in academics, and under his leadership, MITS has become a sought-after engineering college in Kerala. Then we have with us Mr. Harkirat Singh, who is the co-founder of 100X School, Noida, and alumnus of Computer Science Engineering IIT Roorkee. He has a JEE Advanced All India rank of 658. He has gone to the ICPC Regionals and contributed to Google Summer of Code twice. He has a wide industrial experience working with companies like Goldman Sachs and Backpack. Thank you so much for joining us today. So I think I'll start with you for the first question. So before we walked into the interview, you were telling us how much you wanted to contribute to the society and how keenly you were looking into it, be it healthcare or education. So can you share your views on starting MITS Kochi, especially in a very competitive market of around 135 engineering colleges?
Thank you. Muthoot Group and Muthoot Finance is mainly into financing business. But starting some institutes or engineering institutes has been our passion. So in 2013, when the family decided to start an institute like this, we thought of Cochin, because Cochin was a metro, and Cochin had proximity to Info Park, it had proximity to industries, and also proximity to good faculty availability. So these were the thoughts which we thought should be there when we start the institute. Again, the ethos of the institute was to look after or bring bright students into the industry. So we thought that we should have an institute where meritorious students can come, and also people from humble backgrounds or maybe not affordable backgrounds can also come to the institute. So this was the thought behind starting MITS in 2013.
Thank you, sir. So being the principal of MITS, you would have dealt with a lot of daily challenges. So on a whole, what would you say the challenges were that our campus faced to become one of the sought-after engineering colleges in Kerala?
Thanks, Manasa, for the question, and happy to be part of this panel with our respected MD sir and Harkirat Singh. Interesting question because as you rightly mentioned, we were a late entrant. in 2013, when we had more than 130 odd colleges in the state. And to conceive the growth of such an institution and to place it where we really want to belong was a big challenge. So there we had a panel of advisors, including our respected MD sir, who set the vision for us. And then we just had to ensure that we play our role in such a way that the students who come in are really taken care over the 4 years of their study here. And the fundamental principle in that was we don't compromise on the quality of the intake. We were not just interested in filling up the numbers. We were interested in ensuring that the students who come in, as MD sir rightly mentioned, whatever be the background they come from, they come with a purpose. In the next 4 years, we ensure that we cater to their requirements, ensure that we give them quality education, and give them quality scholarship also from the support of the group. And this really helped the institution grow, because once we have the right kind of students in and the right kind of talent pool in terms of the faculty, which is equally important, so we could reach where we are today. And that set us, or that gave us what we call as the impetus, competing with even the best colleges in the state which were already established, even 80-year-old institutes in the government sector. So we compete with them at par now, and we have now become the institute of choice of engineering aspirants. Happy to be part of such an institution, and now we look forward. What could be the next 10 years for us? And that is why I hope we are sitting here.
Okay, so now moving to the main attention of our podcast. So I did happen to see a few videos of yours on YouTube where, you're from the prestigious alumni and you were going through a very highly paid career. But looking at the videos and all, you've had a life of constant change, and that's not a path of comfort. Any IIT graduate, you'd imagine them working in New York, which you were. So what inspired you to take this bold step and to build initiatives like the Super 30 and 100X?
Yeah, I think, thank you for the question. This started like a year ago, around the time that I quit my job. I generally like computer science a lot, and I loved when my day-to-day was actually, coding, irrespective of the location, be it New York, Japan, or India. But I think around a year ago, me and my co-founder Samir, who's also here, realized there's a very big gap in the kind of education that exists, even in prestigious colleges like IITs. Like if you take the top 2 IITs or 3 IITs, other than that, even in the tier 1 colleges of the country, the education that is being provided is very disconnected with what the industry needs, which is why there's a ramp-up period of a lot of times 1 year, 2 years for someone to join a company and then actually understand and be able to provide value to the company. We thought we're very close to the industry. We have people that we've placed in the past. I myself have worked at companies and understood what exactly a company wants from an engineer. So we thought, why not drill this down into a curriculum, stay very off regulation for now, and completely own the curriculum, the timeline of what we think is needed to make someone good at computer science, and then get them a job. That's why we started Super 30 as a 6-month program, because we think genuinely 6 months is enough to learn programming enough to be able to contribute to a company. And then we also started the 4-year program for people who are just 18 right now.
So finally, we keep complaining about this brain drain and everything. So finally, there are people coming back to India and contributing to the next, engineers to come.
Yeah, I think now there's a lot of reverse brain drain. I think a lot of things have changed in Canada and the US. So I'm seeing a lot of my peers actually come back to India and build.
So building on that, you've always had a vision when it comes to everything you've stepped into. So where do you see our college in the next 10 years?
See, as of date, as Professor Dr. Nilakantan said, our colleges come on top. Maybe we are on the top 3 or 4 engineering colleges in Kerala. So that's a given. Now, when you come to next 10 years, we would like to have the students also placed well. After they complete their studies, they need to be placed well, they need to get a good job, or they need to go as their own startups, etc. So we need people with more skills and training. That is where we thought we should associate with another company, probably who has got expertise in this, so that our students who pass out from here, although they are good in academics in their subject, they need to be industry trained, industry ready, and industry should be ready to accept them. So for that, they need some very good training, maybe a grueling training. And that was what we thought we would get with Harkida's company.
So, walking in this journey, have you ever retrospected and felt what happened in the past 13 years to our campus?
Yeah, I think the campus Muthoot as a group, this is one of our CSR projects, corporate social responsibility projects. We don't intend to make any profit, etc. from here, but we need to give back to society. See, the society has definitely blessed us with a lot of business, with a lot of income, profits, etc. We thought we should give back to society something. And that is, again, we are able to do that through this institute. So as I said earlier, we just don't take academic people who have afforded to pay this, but we take anybody who is good in academics, although he is not financially well off. So we give scholarships through the CSR also. We give scholarships. So that is again something which we can give back to society. And going forward, we try to give from the family side, from the Muthoot Finance side, we try to give the best of facilities, whether it is the infrastructure, whether it is the extracurricular activities, whether it is whatever they need in the college, we try to give it to them. So we keep no holds barred to make this a premier institute, maybe something which people should look forward to come, an institute of choice, not only in Kerala, in India.
Thank you, sir. So you are an educator of 30 plus years of experience. So when you see a student, what would you say that this is the right attitude he needs to succeed? Because you've been seeing a lot of students. I myself have come to your office several times to ask for leave and everything. So what would you say is the right attitude for an engineer?
Difficult question because we are addressing now Gen Z and Gen Alpha students. But the fact remains that being a student or being an educator, the fundamental focus should be on the, as you rightly said, the attitude. So attitudes build over time. But then, as I mentioned in my initial answer, I hope you might recollect, is in the first 10 years of our story, it has been all about consolidation, building our credentials, ensuring that we stay at the top, academics to be good, placements to be good. Now once we have become the sought after institution, now naturally the level of aspirations go up. The students who join us, the parents who entrust them to us, aspiration levels go up. So how do we meet such aspirations? And what do we tell a student who joins us? So as an educator, as you rightly said, seeing all these generations of students over the years, my clear answer to them, see, industry also, I hope Harkirat also will agree that, they call it as 21st century skills, which everyone talks about, the 4 C's. So these 4 C's in 4 different years or all through these 4 years has to be into them in different ways. And we create such opportunities. I hope you are aware about the 4 C's, the creativity part, the collaborative part, the communication, and of course the critical thinking. In this age of LLMs and all those tools around us, how does such things get into them? So our objective as an educator, rather than just teaching them, would be to engage with them, give them the right kind of inputs, and challenge them more. These days we need to challenge them more. And that is the whole idea behind this discussion also, because we want to ensure that the students who come to us are challenged more. And once they are challenged more, we sincerely believe that we'll be able to get the best out of them. So our objective as educators now will be to facilitate them better, give them the right kind of opportunities, give them the right kind of inputs, and give them that space in the campus to develop and grow.
So related to that, recently we did have a pilot MITS Elevate program happening in 2025. So according to you, what do you think were the benefits that our students got from that?
And linked to that again, so the thought behind such an initiative, I would say, is if you look at the state of Kerala, for example, we have a good number of colleges in the state. Some of them are really doing well, both in the government sector, we have an aided sector also here. But if you look at the premise here now, none of them have gone beyond a certain level. Probably multiple reasons for that. But if you look at other states, for example, they have now huge institutions which are exceedingly doing well. brand names which have become cult names in the country, destinations of choice. We have campuses now which house around 30,000 students, 20,000 students. But unfortunately in Kerala, we don't have such a campus yet. Say, to quote an example, you have a BITS Pilani, which is always looked upon. You have an IIT Madras. You have a VIT Vellore. You have all these premier IITs. They are known with their destinations. Say, Kharagpur. Nobody knew in the country, but once an IIT came and set the tone, now everyone knows Kharagpur. So why can't we have a MITS Kochi, which would be an institution for the future? And that is our mission going into this next 10 years down the line. We could brand ourselves as an institution of choice and brand ourselves as MITS Kochi. Okay, so which could be an institution of choice for not just aspirants from the state of Kerala, but all over the country. And that is what we look forward to doing with 100x School and this initiative that we are planning.
That was very insightful, sir. So if you've, from talking from my personal experience, back when I graduated in 2021, I know that something that our campus prioritizes is in making us employable and getting employed at the end of our course. So how do you foresee the MITS Elevate program?
MITS Elevate program is something which definitely we feel is a good one. And the initial response we got from the pilot we did was also good. The students, I understand, have been placed better. And I'm sure when we go for a little more comprehensive MITS Elevate program, I'm sure the students will do better and their employability will certainly be better. And as Professor Neelakantan said, we would finally want to become an institute of choice. MITS Kochi should be something like a IIT or a BITS, etc. So I think people should think of Kerala not only as people for a bigger or better education go outside Kerala, they should feel like staying back in Kerala. Today there are so many students from Kerala who are going to some of these premier institutes. Why should they go? They can study here. So if Muthoot rises to that, and our experience is the first experiment or first trial has been quite good, encouraging. That is why we are trying to make it a little more ambitious program going forward.
Thank you, sir. I think I'll ask you the next question. So is this your first time in Kerala?
It's my third time in Kochi.
Okay, so how would you say your experience was the last time you collaborated with MITS?
Last time when we collaborated, kids were in Delhi. So I think 60 people from here, the students of the final year, came to study there for a month. I think generally, this I was sharing with the kids as well. The talent here and the kind of attitude that the kids in Kerala hold is significantly better than North kids for some reason. They're more adaptive to learning. They're a little more polite compared to the northern crowd. And that's what I was telling them. I generally feel, basically, if you teach the same set of things to someone from North India, and at least the crowd at MITS, or I don't know if it's the Kochi crowd, I think it's generally, I think, would perform better. That was my read, spending a month with them back then. I'm looking forward to spending more time with the kids of MITS next year.
Okay. So we do have the new 2026 MITS Elevated 100x happening. So what would be the niche skills that our students would be getting, and how are they going to benefit from that?
Yeah, I think this changes very quickly. Like in the last 2 years, AI became like a very important niche. Computer science traditionally it used to grow really fast. Now it grows even faster. So you don't know what new skill comes up tomorrow that's important. Right now, the ones that I can think of are standard, web development, mobile development, backends, frontends, basically building websites, which, every company out there probably needs. Then there are specific niches like AI, machine learning, Web3, blockchain, cybersecurity, where you'll find jobs that are a little more interest driven and require a little more expertise compared to, traditional web development. Generally, I think industry probably only needs talent in one of these niches. So that's what we'll focus on. To sum it up, web development, mobile app development, backend, front-end, machine learning, AI, Web3, blockchains, cybersecurity.
Okay. So I think you would be the best person to ask about when it comes to details. So what are the new details related to 2026 on eligibility and
So as Sarkarat mentioned, we piloted a program last year where, frankly speaking, we were a bit late. Dr. Chiku, who was the one who conceived this entire program, we started a discussion with Harkirat. We visited him. He came down. We had long discussions, and then we thought we'll pilot a program. We would select a few students who were really interested and who had the metal fundamentally. So we took 52 students last year to Noida. We wanted to brand it too. So we were searching for names, and Dr. Chiku came up with this very interesting concept of MITS Elevate. So Elevate, as the name suggests, is thinking beyond the ordinary. So we need to have a set of students who are capable of thinking beyond the ordinary, who are willing to do it, and if we give them the support, can we really elevate them? So elevating in terms of their skills, elevating in terms of their confidence. So when they face the music, they are ready. And that was evident by the time they came back. They spent close to 1 month with Harkirat in Noida. And the interesting feedback that we had, in fact, MD sir was gracious enough to support a few of our faculty members also. So 3 of our faculty members also accompanied them. And apprehensions were there, of course, first time effort and what lies in store. But students were really enthusiastic. We witnessed that when we visited them there. During the course of their stay, we visited them there. And when they came back and they continued the process here, we interacted with them. And proof of the pudding, as you know, is in the eating. So finally, when they went for their interviews, when they went for their campus placements and things like that, for most of these students, it was a cakewalk. Like once they cleared the initial rounds of selection, it was mostly a discussion-centric selection, which happened later because they were talking about their projects, which they built. They're talking about their profiles, which became better. So naturally, the industry got interested in them. So they are now being offered internships at multiple locations, some of the best companies. So what we have witnessed in the last cohort that we had, we want to call it as cohort 1, is that the students really benefited. So when we reviewed that, and when we thought we should be doing it better the next time, so that's why we want to start it early this year, probably in the next month itself. We are in the process of signing an MOU with 100x School, and we propose to start in the month of February itself. And by the time they finish their pre-final year, that is by the end of April or May, they go through a minimum process here, sitting in MITS, and then it is a seamless transition to the journey that they're going to have there. And we have again having discussions with Harkirat on how to make it better, improve on what we did last year. So we had in fact interacted with the students also, the previous students and the present students also. So the process is already rolling. And by the time we open the registrations, we definitely feel that this time there will be much more interest because there is already a proven model and we are building on that. So we look forward to the cohort 2, which is going to happen probably in the month of June. And going forward, we are going to fine-tune the model better. And ultimately, the clarity is there on what we are going to do. And once the clarity is there, and from the top management as well as the leadership, and with the people whom we associate, it will be definitely benefiting the students who are part of this.
I think being a student of MITS, we are so lucky because our campus does not leave us after the course. Like even during our times, we used to have these preparations organized by our teachers to give us these little tricks on placement, and so our campus has always really stressed on that. And now looking at it, I think the coming batches are like very lucky because they get to prepare a really long ago before the placement. So I think I would ask you on, the constant thing we hear is that our Indian engineers are not as dynamic as the market. They keep complaining on that, like our syllabus is outdated, we don't have the skills to meet global demands and all that. So how do you think that the skills you provide would, help our students cope up to these changing markets?
Yeah, I think it's generally a known truth that, colleges are not, or whatever, there's a very big disconnect right now, purely based on the curriculum that is mandated probably by the government, which is a little outdated compared to what is needed, primarily because computer science moves very quickly, and what is needed to be learned today is very different from what was needed to be learned 2 years ago. We thankfully have the faculty who's very closely aligned to the industry. A lot of them actually right now working in, a company, having a good offer there and just contributing here part-time as a teacher, only coming, daily for an hour or two to take their specific classes. That way we really recommend teachers to have a job outside our teaching faculty or, our teaching curriculum, so that they're closely aligned with what is happening in the industry, because it's really easy to, get outdated as a technical teacher because the curriculum or the industry would move, very quickly. That's what we sort of, at least that's what's helped us right now. In the sense that whoever is teaching right now was very closely aligned to the industry, so they know what exactly needs to be taught, what does not need to be taught.
Okay. So can you tell us more about your mentorship on ICPC and GSOC and the fact that you have cleared both of them personally? So tell us more about that.
Yeah, I think these are both pretty prestigious programs to go through in college. ICPC specifically is like an Olympiad. There are mathematics Olympiads when you're in school. ICPC is just a computer science alternate of it. Mostly tier 1 colleges, they tend to get in. There are two parts to this. You first go for the regionals, which is you compete with a bunch of India teams, and then the best 10 teams from the country go international and compete outside. Traditionally, India hasn't performed well internationally. I think the best rank has usually been 60, 70, something like that. China and the US usually end up dominating the first few ranks. At the global stage, I think we need to do a lot. Locally, I've been part of regionals. The teachers that we have in DSA have been part of regionals. So they sort of understand what is needed to reach the India competition. International is a whole longer challenge that I think India generally needs to do better on, and it'll take a few years for us to reach there. On Google Summer of Code, which is another sort of a prestigious program that Google sponsors, it's one of the better programs or the better internships you can do in your second or your third year, because you're working in an open source company, which means all the code that you contribute is visible to everyone. So you have that proof of work to show forever, for life. It pays really well. I think it pays $3,000 for the summer, which is like, a decent amount in your second year or your third year. It can sponsor some part of your fees. I did this back in college twice. And since then, I've been making videos. I think my first GSOC video is from back in 2017. And a lot of, the talent from the country or GSOC selections happened through our online programs. And since we have that talent density, we're able to, help these students also get into Google Summer of Code.
Okay, so now this is the question that I've been waiting to ask you, and something that I've been very curious to know. So talking about Super 30, would you tell us the secret? Like, what was the median salary that the people you mentored got? Yeah,
I'll share a stat or a sheet with sir, so he can put this on the screen. Last Super 30, the median, there were 50 people, 42 got placed. Median was $1,500 a month, so that's 1.5 lakhs a month. And average was $2,000, so 2 lakh a month. This Super 30 has 80 people. It started in September, so it's been 4 months. 40 people have been placed. Average is a little higher, I think $2,200. Median is $1,800 this time. So I don't know what we're doing. I mean, honestly, I have no idea. I've been talking to a lot of colleges and realizing that in a lot of colleges, at least in Delhi, their intake is like 5,000 students, but less than 20 people are making greater than 10 LPA. And for some reason, we've been able to perform better. We've been able to compete with IITs in terms of the number of placements and the packages. I think mostly industry connects is the reason. The kind of inbound that we get for companies to hire through us is just a very strong moat that we have, through which we're able to get, then we don't need to place 1,000 people, right? Our batches are really small, and hence, a combination of these two helps us place, people at better packages.
We know that 2026 new MITS Elevate at 100x is going to happen. So what is the eligibility and the program design for it?
Yeah. See, as an institute, as I mentioned earlier, we strongly believe in our learning. And the learning that we had over the past 2 years, for example, and again further discussions with Harkarat and our own internal discussions, we have a strong feeling that we cannot just give this at the end of the program. We have to start early. We have to nurture our talent, give them the opportunities spread over a period of 3 to 4 years. And that is how we are going to conceive the new MITS Elevate, which we are going to launch for the new batch, which is going to join us in the month of August this year. So the MITS Elevate 2026 is going to be branded differently. We are going to pick, or we are going to have, or give the opportunity to the students, select students, to start right from the first year. So catch them young is the phrase. And and give them show them the journey from the beginning and take them through the journey over a period of 4 years. And that is how we have aligned with, again, Mr. Harkirat here. And today, in fact, we are going to sign an MOU with him to ensure that this process is rolled out perfectly. And these students will be mentored by his team. They will go through their regular studies in MITS, and at the same time, they'll be given that flexibility and that opportunity to be with him for full 2 months every year in the summer months, where we as an institute, I hope you're aware, we have become autonomous. So our calendar has become more flexible. We design our own academics, we design our calendar. So we have that window in the month of June and July, where we'll be able to give this opportunity to our students. Now, you mentioned about a design. So this is regarding the design. And these 2 months they'll be spending with him in the summer months in every year, starting from the first year. But the mentorship starts the day one they join MITS. So we'll be aligning with Harkirat, and he'll be visiting us quite often to interact with the students, prepare them for the journey. Our teachers also will be part of the process. We will all be interacting with the students, mentoring them before they go there. And this process will continue for the 3 years. And that is how we have conceived this journey. So a new thought, a new concept, but we want to identify the right kind of students. We want to take it to a larger community. And then the next question is, how do we pick the students? See, I hope you're also aware again, I mentioned about the kind of institutes we have in the state, the lack of opportunities they have here, and their aspirations year on year increasing. So we probably would like to target students who have gone through the grind, who have bigger aspirations, and who probably look outside now. So why don't we give them an opportunity here with the best kind of inputs, with the best kind of the quality that we can give. And when we think of eligibility specifically, see, why can't we target students who just miss the bus? Miss the bus in terms of Tier 1 institutes. So Tier 1 institutes, I hope you're aware, they have to appear through JEE, which is a very competitive exam. Almost 12 to 14 lakh students take the test. Some of them start very early. In their 6th standard, they go through the foundation program, then they go through the rigor in the +1 and +2, their higher secondary program, and then they take a highly competitive exam. But with all these preparations, we have had personal experiences too of students. We have students who go for a repeat of the JEE exam and still they struggle. But those who have gone through the grind, we feel that they're ready. They're ready to take up any challenge because they have gone through the rigor. They know what is the rigor. And if you are able to have tailor-made solutions for them, rather than just doing an ordinary engineering course, that is where we are going to place this MITS Elevate program. So probably, if you are aware, a student who wants to get into a premier NIT, I'm talking about JEE mains, would need anywhere in the range of 99 and above. Of course, slightly less than 99, they have the new NITs which have come up and other institutes which compete with NITs. But if you look at Kerala, interestingly, there is a statistic which tells us that around 3,000 to 4,000 students just miss the bus because they don't have those scores, even with 2 rounds of JEE happening. And so we will be targeting such students, telling them we have an institution now in Kochi which is willing to cater to you, which has a vision set for you, and where we are ambitiously aligning with a similar-minded institution in Delhi, which is the 100X school, where they have their own credentials, they have proven themselves, as Harkirat was mentioning about the kind of opportunities they give their students in the Super 30 program. So I would say a percentile, if you want me to tell, students who have percentiles of 92 and above in JEE main and who miss the bus due to multiple reasons. Some of them, of course, they have choices of the other private universities and so on, but still, there are a good number of students who definitely want to have an institute of choice who can give them or who can meet their aspirations. When they go through the grind, they have the aspirations. So those aspirations can be met by this model. Similarly, another thought is linked to the Kerala entrance exam also. Because Kerala entrance exam, it would be a cakewalk for them. The students who go through the JEE mains as well as JEE advanced preparation, they will definitely do well in KEAM. So if you do well in KEAM also, we have set some limits. It's there in our brochure too. So if they score well in the KEAM, as well as they have percentiles exceeding 92 and above in JEE, we are there to cater to them with the MITS Elevate program. So that is the program design, as well as the eligibility which we would like to set for such students.
Oh, I think this has become a blessing for all those people who are hoping for a second chance to actually get to the places that they should be.
That's the thought.
Adding to what Professor Neelakandan said, Muthoot Group would also like to participate in this and provide scholarships to meritorious students for the Elevate program.
Yeah.
So we would be happy to provide scholarships to meritorious students who are opting for this Elevate program, so that people who cannot afford but they are really bright can also take up this program.
I think we had a very insightful podcast, and thank you, sir, especially at a time when Indian engineers are being invited and valued. Such skill development programs are going to be a game changer for the batches yet to come. So I think registrations are going to start from first week of March. So those interested can log into our website, mitskochi.com, and find more details.